Hello, it's Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Today, August 16th, Saturday, taking a daily look at news and events affecting southwestern Ontario and beyond on X, on my X feed. We'll see. It's almost end of the summer too, so things are going by quick. So, what's going on today on Saturday? A lot of stuff, not much going on. A lot of reaction to the Trump-Putin meeting yesterday. And I guess he's meeting with Zelensky on Monday in Washington. So he's trying to wind down that war, hopefully. But we'll see how that all turns out. I mean, we got a few posts on that reaction. And then I saw this really bad crash in Florida. It's making a lot of news. These truck drivers, these Indian truck drivers, just totally killed a whole car full of people. Because, they're graduating from obviously not getting the right training. And yeah, that's about it. Nothing too crazy today. So, but we thought it was just a problem. The trucks crashing, we thought that was just a Canadian problem. The most famous one was the most famous case was the Humboldt Broncos crash that killed 16 people. It injured a bunch of others. But there's a lot of crashes, and it's getting dangerous. Like you gotta worry about, is this guy gonna hit me or not? So this is this crash in Florida. So check this out. Apparently it's in Florida, but when you go on the highway here in Sarnia, the 402, there's little slits in the highway where you can do a U-turn, but that's only allowed for police, ambulance, whatever, fire, only authorized vehicles. Otherwise, you have to take the exit and then go on to the other. If you missed your exit, you have to take the next exit, go on. So this truck decided, I'm just going to use the whatever, made in illegal or for, I don't know what they call those, damn it. But anyway, he said, I'm just going to turn anyway on the highway. And a car coming, probably, going at a fast rate. Last thing they would expected was this guy's going to do a U-turn on the highway. And boom, it's just horrible. But I know it happened in Florida, but it's relevant here because we've seen the same kind of truck accidents here. It's just a matter of time before there's a major casualty event again, like the Humboldt thing. So let's look at this here. So there's the cab doing the U-turn. Boom. Oh, God. And he's like, shit. Now they're going to send me back to India. And look at him there. Like, that's going viral, that video of him just standing there. And I don't know. It seems like he's not worried about the people that he killed. He's more worried about him getting... He knows for sure he's not going to be able to stay in the U.S. He's going to be sent back to India. That's the best case scenario for him. The worst case is he'll be in jail for the rest of his life. But, yeah, I don't know. Our trucking industry's screwed because they say, well, we have to hire these guys because we don't have enough people. And is it really worth it? I don't know. Like, is it worth dying to get some stuff on a truck quicker, I don't know. But I'm sure they're waiting for the AI robots to take over the truck industry because this can't be fixed. Anyway. And the next one, child pornography charges laid against BC high school teacher. I saw this. It was an Indian dude, but know. He was probably Canadian, born here, I guess, probably, but who knows? Lovesh Ramsaha facing counts of making or publishing child pornography. All right. BC is weird. A lot of weird guys there. Okay. Next, what's this guy? Oh, this is funny. Indian man films children at a park and gets caught by the mothers who confront him and call the police. Please, 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 I don't know the rules. In India, it's not a problem. It's a pattern. I don't know where this at. Victoria Park. Oh, it's in England, maybe. All right. But, you know, it's relevant here, too, because, like, we have parks and we have lots of Indians, and they see some parts of India come from a culture of, like you said, we do this in India. Like, it's a culture thing, and they come here and they just keep doing it. It's weird. It's not good. But whether it's like getting in an Uber or going to the park or getting on a bus, the women of this country seem to have to, or going to a public pool or swim park, women especially, and the young girls have to worry. It's not fair. It's not good. And it's only going to get worse if you keep bringing in this kind of mentality where, you know, you can do it. You can do whatever you want to girls. It's not good at all. I not good at all. Let's just say that. This is funny. I like this video today. There's Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, if he was at the time of the crucifixion.
Israel has a right to defend itself.
Yeah, I thought that was funny because he built his kind of like his fame and his organization with being very pro-Israel, and now his young followers are kind of like questioning him on that, and yeah, he's feeling the heat. It's funny. I don't know if this is old. I've seen this before, but it's true. He's a simp. Okay, next, here's the presidents of Russia and the U.S. And I get a kick out of when they meet. I'm glad they met because it's the first time they met in years, the president, the U.S. president and the Russian president. And since the Ukraine war, I know Biden met with Putin just before the Ukraine war. And the global commies are all freaking out because they worried that peace might break out. So, you know, the enemies of diplomacy are not happy when they see Trump and Putin meeting. And they're saying, oh, we betrayed Ukraine, all this and that. It's like, whatever, man. Like, I just want to end this globalist war. It's just funny seeing them freak out. Like guys like John Bolton, guys like people like Victoria Nuland, they're all just freaking out over this. That the chance that they might actually have a better relationship, because it's been very bad the last 3 years between the U.S. and Russia. So the fact that Putin came to Alaska and met him on U.S. soil, and they look like they look pretty happy in this photo, like they got something cooking. Hold on. yeah, it's funny watching them. We got some clips of it here. So this is what Trump said about the meeting. A great and very successful day in Alaska. Meeting with Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, as did a late-night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. So the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement, which would end the war, and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes do not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to D.C. on Monday. If all works out, we'll then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially, millions of people's lives will be saved. Thank you. Okay, so that's his kind of report on the meeting with Putin. So it should be interesting to see what how that meeting on Monday with Zelensky goes. Last time they had a big blow up. So we'll see if he wears a suit. Okay. Okay. Next. Little Greece story. I always look at the Greece stories because I used to live there for a couple years. We can't have Greece become a playground for IDF soldiers. Israeli tourists traveling to Greek islands met with pro-Palestine protests. Yeah. So Greece is right by Israel, so it's very easy for them to hop on a plane and go to Greece for a vacation if they want to get out of Israel, let's say. It's for the most part friendly, as long as you don't like wear a Israeli flag on your shirt or whatever. But this thing with Gaza is kind of like, normally Israelis can go to Greece as long as they don't do all their Israel's the best country in the world crap. They're generally taken care of, like they're not harassed. But with this Gaza thing, it seems they're not getting away with their vacations now. It's too bad. Oh well. Next. This is some of the reaction for the global commies of Putin's visit. Brian Krasenstein. He yesterday called openly for several times for the assassination of President Putin on American soil. But this is what he said when Netanyahu comes. The guy, an actual like bombing babies and children at the time. I'm no fan of Netanyahu, but I'm not for the U.S. arresting him if he enters. So these guys, that's what they are. They want to go to war. They want a permanent war with Russia. I don't want to be a permanent war with Russia. So, yeah. And Putin said it good too. He said, like, if we did what Israel did to Gaza, if we did that to Ukraine, all of NATO would be in the gates of Moscow. He's right. All right, next post here. Oh, the Khalistanis. Khalistani terrorists burned the Indian flag outside the Indian consulate in Toronto yesterday. We need remigration now. I have no idea why we're taking these Khalistani people into Canada. I have no idea why, because they obviously don't give a shit about Canada. They're just using us as a stepping stone to a Khalistani state. And I don't even think they care if it's in India, to be honest. I think they'll take a piece of Canada. They'll take Saskatchewan. They better than nothing. I saw a big Indian crowd in Saskatchewan. I don't know if they were Khalistani or Sikh or Hindu, whatever. But Saskatchewan is like 1 million people. And it's a big province for 1 million people. So if they wanted the Khalistanis or any Indian faction wanted to take over a province, that's the one to take. Because it's like 1 million people. You flood enough Indians in there, that's you got an Indian premier, you got an Indian mayor, you got an Indian province. Next thing you know, it's Khalistan. So I wouldn't be surprised, because they're not going to get it in India. That's never going to happen. And I don't even think they want it in India. They'll take it anywhere. But yeah, we're dummies for letting this happen. Come on. Next. This is on the Putin-Trump meeting. Thomas Malinen, I guess he's Finnish, I guess. No dinner, no questions for the press, vague statements from POTUS, but 10 out of 10 meeting, complete silence from the Russian side, panic all over the mainstream media. Something major was agreed yesterday. Yeah, I believe it's one of those meetings that you'll probably read about years from now, like, oh, this is what they talked about. It's hush-hush, very hush-hush, but something's up. Like, there's something in that meeting that wasn't reported, but that's a big deal. I think the fact that the meeting took place is a big deal because, especially on U.S. soil, that was kind of out of nowhere. And it's kind of like a reapproachment that Trump, he wanted to show that we don't want to be, like, we want to resume normal relations with this country. Because, you know, for the last few years, they're Cold War setting almost. Cold War footing. Here's Rupa Subramanya. I always get her because she's from India, so she knows what's going on, and she speaks English, so she can kind of explain the situation, because it's a complex country, India. It's so crazy. You need like a interpreter or a guide. What's she saying here? A story about immigration fraud by Indians claiming asylum in Canada, all spinning the same sob story. One guy, Singh, claimed he fears persecution in India due to his active support of an independent Khalistan, cause for which he said he's been advocating for since coming to Canada. So the separatist movement tied to the worst terrorist attack in Canadian history. So in Canada, you can openly champion Khalistan without consequences to your immigration status, and the bad guys know it. Yes, we're dummies. We are dummies. You know, I can't speak for other countries, but this is ridiculous. Like, I don't know how this happens. This Khalistan business, that should be all shut down. Deport, but I don't think India wants them, to be honest. I don't think they want them. There's Trump, great day in Alaska. Okay, what's the White House saying? Great and very successful day in Alaska. It was determined that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to... Okay, we read that. So, next one. So Israel is engaged... This is on Israel. So Israel is engaging in ethnic cleansing and dumping their diversity into white countries. How shocking. No one could have predicted that. Yes. So they've been rumbling a lot about getting rid of moving the population in Gaza. We'll see it's going to happen. Their next offensive in Gaza, and all these rumblings about refugees going to different countries. I said I guess somewhere in Belgium or something, arriving there. Who knows? I'm sure Canada will be getting a few. And Carney will take them because they vote Liberal. Okay. This story, we're still talking about the woods being closed in Nova Scotia. Apparently, the woods are closed so we can kill 60% of the forest with known carcinogen toxic glyphosate, said Nova Scotia, the province obsessed with bike lanes, wind power, and every environmental fad in the world. That's Jeremy McKenzie. I think he's from East Coast, so yeah, that's weird what's going on in Nova Scotia. Okay, here's Mark Carney's reaction to the Alaska summit. So, leadership of President Trump in the United States is creating the opportunity to end Russia's illegal war in Ukraine. Robust and credible security guarantees are essential to any just and lasting peace. Welcome the openness of the United States to providing security guarantees as part of the Coalition of the Willing's efforts. Coalition of the Willing. Canada is closely coordinating with President Zelensky and our partners in the Coalition of the Willing to intensify our steadfast support for Ukraine and our shared commitment to its peace and security. Yeah, pretty words, but basically they have to. They'll be going along with. Canada will be going on. I don't know. The question is, are the Europeans going to say? So basically, are they going to say we're going to keep supporting Ukraine even if the U.S. doesn't? I don't think so. I think they're pissed that their war is ending and they can't fight Russia. But I don't know. Carney's. I don't think he's as pro fighting Ukraine as Trudeau was. I don't know. We'll see. But it's ridiculous how much money we spent there. 15 billion or something for, we could use that. We could be spending that here in Canada. But definitely time to end this globalist war and Canada's support for it. And Chrystia Freeland must be crying. Oh, she should move to Ukraine. Okay. I was just looking at this today. I was curious. So because there's always this focus on Muslims in Canada, how, we got to get rid of Muslims, but not one word. I agree. Like, I don't think we should have more, too many Muslims in Canada because it's very hard to integrate their especially the devout Muslims, like the really hardcore ones. It's hard to reconcile their hardcore beliefs with everyday life here in Canada. Horrible. It's just a recipe for disaster. But nobody mentions the Indians because obviously, that's the ones who share our values, I guess. But according to 2021 census, 7% of the population were Indian of Canada. 7%. That's all. And Muslims were under 5%. But I bet you anything, that's 2021. I guarantee those numbers are way higher. Like, just looking out in my city here, that number for Indians is probably 10% in here. And I see a few Muslim, like visible Muslim, but not many compared to Indian. Anyway, I'm sure they're both higher right now since COVID and all that. But instead of focusing on one group, we should focus on all of them, even the ones from Africa too. We got to get rid of them too. And I'm not being, it's just, it doesn't make sense. But I like how they focus on one group just because they're Muslims, because the Israel lobby, they don't care about if Canada's flooded with immigrants, but they want to demonize the one group, the Muslims, and leave the Indians and the Africans alone to come here. So yeah, I see through it. But this is, you think, 7%'s not bad or 5%'s not bad, but they keep coming. That's one thing. There's a steady stream of them. There's lots of them to come, like billions to base population. Plus, they have a much higher birth rate. And once they get here, they get their PR, they can sponsor others to apply. But also, on our side, the baby boomers are going to have a mass die-off in the next 10 years. Maybe 10, 15 years. 10 years for sure. And that's going to fall off a cliff. And so that 10% or whatever it is going to go up to like 20 in no time. So that's huge. It's all demographics. It's a demographic bomb waiting to happen. And also the native-born population, Canadians, aren't having kids, so they can't match the birth rate of these groups. So yeah, it's a recipe for disaster. Next, more reaction from the Ukraine or the Russia-U.S. meeting from John Bolton, who's one of the biggest war pigs. Never saw war, U.S. war he didn't like. And he freaks out when there are peace summits. He doesn't like them. So he thinks Trump looks tired. Let's see what he says here.
Tired. And we'll have to reflect on what that means.
Vladimir Putin said
Putin achieved most of what he wanted. Trump achieved very little. And I will say one other thing. I thought Trump looked very tired up there. I mean, very tired. Not disappointed, tired. And we'll have to reflect on what that means.
Vladimir Putin said it.
Okay. So, yeah, they're not happy. It's pretty funny. The next post here. Yeah, I guess Monday's the by-election for Pierre, finally. I'm sure the last place he wanted to be right now is out in rural Alberta trying to win a by-election. And this person says he needs a resounding victory on Monday to reaffirm his grip on the Conservative Party. Anything below 80% in the most conservative riding in Canada will be seen as a defeat. Go Bonnie Critchley. I don't know Bonnie Critchley. But I agree with him on that Pierre has to have like as much a share of the vote as the guy before him whose seat he took. And so I guess he got like 83% of the vote or something. Let's see what Grok says. But so if Pierre gets like 60% or 70%, the people that want to get rid of him, like Doug Ford and they want to like they got the knives out for Pierre. So if he doesn't have like a 80-90% win in this, it'll give him more kind of a appetite for it. This is kind of interesting. A 2023 study from the Canadian Political Science Association showing that the Conservative leaders historically face reviews if riding results dip below 75% in safe seats. So yeah, I guess there is something to that. So we'll see Monday. Pierre's not looking good lately. He's looking kind of tired and looking a little weird. I think he knows, like, a lot of people in the Conservative Party don't like him or his wife. So, you know, it's different if people in the party don't like you, but you're winning, and they'll put that dislike aside for the winning. But if you're losing and they don't like you, then, ooh, it's hard. Next, here I saw this on CTV News. Israeli leaders support the mass relocation of Palestinians from Gaza. It's coming. I see it coming. And I'm sure Israel will send a bunch Canada's way, and Carney will take them because they will vote Liberal. So, yeah, he's going to take them for sure. It's just a matter of how many. Last time we got 40,000, at least 40,000 Syrians from Israel's destabilization of that country. So here's another truck driver is doing the same illegal maneuver in Canada by a Punjabi driver. So pretty dangerous. Look at that. Like, what was he thinking? Wow. I'm kind of impressed that he U-turned that thing through a ditch. But that's the maneuver that killed. See exactly what that speeding car. See, it's different because he's doing it into an oncoming lane, whereas the car that crashed into the other one was coming, was in the same lane as him. That's crazy. Highways of death here, and these guys got blood on their hands that are licensing. The politicians that are in charge of regulating the trucking industry have blood on their hands. And here's another one. Family of man killed in crash calls for stricter laws for dangerous driving. Premier voices support. And I'm like, Premier. I said the blood of this family man is on Doug Ford's fat hands for helping turn Ontario into a third world shithole, because the guy, I don't know, the guy, whether he's Canadian or not, he drives like a third world. who this guy was. So, 18-year-old Jaiwin Krirubunan. So, who knows what his story is? Like, it sounds Sri Lankan. But apparently they're all shitty drivers, whether it's driving a truck or driving a regular car. So, yeah, I guess this guy hit the Premier's SUV a few weeks back, and he's a bad driver, and now he ends up, a few weeks later, he ends up hitting this guy and killing him. And look at his beautiful family there. So, yeah, these guys got blood on their hands for turning Ontario basically into third world shithole where, you know, these deaths in third world countries, they happen because there's no, you know, organization of, you know, the society. So everybody's just like on their own. So, you know, if you're lucky, you're lucky. If you're not, you're not. And that's because Doug Ford has turned Ontario into a third world. So you got to worry about all this. Next, another post. Haaretz, the popular Israeli newspaper, reporting on the summer vacation problems of Israelis. It's happening in Italy, Greece, Spain. They can't go anywhere for fun. Next. Here's CBC News take on the summit between Trump and Putin. U.S. President Donald Trump set the bar low for the high-stakes meeting with his Russian counterpart in Alaska, and it became apparent why late Friday, as things wrapped up with little more than a commitment to meet again. So, like, yeah, I think CTV had a thing saying Ukraine betrayed as Putin meets Trump, and basically they're all slagging this meeting, saying it was either a betrayal or a waste of time or didn't get nothing. But this is a historic meeting because the U.S. and Russia have basically, before this were cut off, they were expelling each other's diplomats. They weren't even talking. They were literally near a state of war. So the fact that Putin's in Alaska meeting with Trump it's historic and it's good, and I think nobody with a brain was expecting them to solve the war in Alaska. But the face-to-face meetings are very important to get a lot of the big issues resolved. You know, you can only do so much on the telephone. So CBC, being their globalist, they're mad because the globalist war might end. So it's a historic meeting. As far as I'm concerned, globalists are just angry. There might be a slight chance of peace between the U.S. and Russia. And I want good relations with U.S. and Russia. USA and Russia to have good relations. I want Canada and Russia to have good relations. I grew up most of my life, I lived most of my life with the Russia and U.S. being enemies. And, you know, I was hoping they would work together after the Cold War ended, but then they got back into this like mini Cold War, the globalists against the Russians, particularly Putin-led Russia. So, yeah, I'd like to see this continue. And that's the main reason I thought for Trump to be president, because the Democrats would not have met with Putin. They would have just kept going on the war until we're all dead. We still might all die, but at least there's a chance, maybe. And there's in Ontario, speaking of the trucking industry, we have Prabmeet Singh Sarkaria. Apparently he was born here, but the point is he's the Ontario Minister of Transportation, responsible for licensing all these Indian graduates from the Brampton Institute of Trucking. There is no Brampton Institute. I'm just joking on that one. But thanks to this guy, Ontario roads have become death traps. Blood is on his and Trader Doug Ford's hands. And it really is. Like, the truck driving schools run in Brampton are crooked, and you see it in the results, you know. But this guy maybe has a little conflict of interest, who knows? But he's not doing the job. And, you know, how many more, you know, people have to die like those people in Florida? That was horrible. That's a horrible way to go. And, you know, it's ridiculous. Like, so easy. So easy to avoid these things. Like, proper training. So, if they're going to have blood on their hands. They're going to have more blood on their hands. So, we'll see. Hopefully not, but we'll see. Anyway, that's pretty well it for the news feed on X, my X news feed for the day. That's pretty well it for tonight. So we'll be back tomorrow, August 17th, to see what's coming up on the week ahead. So until then, everybody, take it easy and stay cool. We'll talk to you then.